All right, Jason, so we've done 28 road tires.
Yes,
Now we're going to jump into gravel tires.
absolutely.
What tires do you have for us? Talk to us about those for a second.
We have the new Gravene. So we launched this tire just about 60 days ago or so, and this is our more aggressive gravel tread for both softer, wetter conditions and also looser and rockier conditions. That's what we have right here.
Now, curious on the box, handmade clincher.
Yes,
The other box said hookless ready. Are these hookless ready?
they are.
They
So
are.
by nature, ETRTO standards state that a certain air pressure needs to be the max pressure on the side of the tire for it to be hookless compatible. So the larger volume tires, the lower air pressure you run. So everything 33 millimeter and above from Challenge are hookless compatible.
Oh, cool. Awesome. All right, so what tires are we going to put this on? Zip 303 Firecrest.
Zip 303 Firecrest and a Reserve 40.
Okay, awesome. So are we gonna race? What are we doing here?
I think that's a great idea.
I think I'm gonna lose.
All right, let's go.
All right. What, dude? You're like that person that's like 1, 2, 3, and then before they hit the 3, they like go.
Don't put it on backwards. It'll be a penalty.
So you're actually cheating down there. He's got a tire that's already done down underneath the seat. I told you.
What are you doing over there? It's going to take my time and
Stretch
see
it.
it. We don't need to be doing that. There's absolutely no need for stretching these tires. We hear it all the time. Put them in your oven. Don't do that.
Oven?
Yeah, we have our Facebook fans that send us comments all the time, and it's just not really needed.
That's fair.
Couple flicks with the tire lever here.
Dude, you are kicking my butt.
I have a little bit more experience than you.
Is it the zip? Is that the difference? Maybe we should.
No, I find reserves very easy to mount too.
They're a good tire. Or excuse me, I should say wheel.
It's a
I really
great
like the
wheel.
Yeah.
So we get some questions once in a while of what happens if I get a flat tire? Is it going to be really hard to change my tire? Well, the answer is no. It's going to be actually a little bit easier because as you ride your tires and break them in after the initial installation, they will loosen up or stretch out just a little bit, and then you'll find the changing of them will be much easier.
Okay, so this is how I screwed up already. I forgot the cardinal rule of working into the actual valve,
Yep.
and I've caught myself in a predicament. So I'm actually going to start over, I think. Can I start over?
We can start over.
Yep, I'm going to start over. I think I could have muscled my way into it, but no. You're almost done, aren't you?
Yeah, I'm taking my time here to letting you catch up.
I told you not to do that. You're missing the point. The point is to show everybody how easy it is, not to wait for people. You're gonna be that dude that like goes to the finish line and you're celebrating. Second place is gonna catch up, brother.
How many tires have you put on in your life?
A lot.
How many?
But I haven't done a lot of, I mean, I've probably put on like 20 when it comes to like tubeless, hookless.
Okay. So not a lot, really.
No, not a lot. And to be frank, like, you know, I've done enough to understand where the market is going with hookless and tubeless.
Great.
Not enough to call myself an expert. That's what Dan Enfield's for. It was going so well until I forgot the cardinal rule of finishing up the valve.
I mean, it is important.
But I feel like I'm doing a better job this time around. Step 2.
I'll give you 3 minutes. So these can be a little difficult when you get to the larger tire sizes because, well, there's a lot more material there, right? Bead's a little bit larger, so you're working in that same small center channel, and there's only so much room in there. So a little bit of manipulation is good.
Well, I think it is important just to continue to work the system
Yes.
instead of try to fight against it. I feel like him right now.
Got a little wrist pump.
I gotta stretch it out, man. I'm gonna cheat. I'm gonna go down
Here, trade me.
here. Okay, so I didn't quite make it under 3 minutes.
We're really close though.
And I didn't want people to get too bored, but I'm at this point. I had to shake my wrists out a lot. I thought you said
This is the easy part.
well, it is if you're not already tired. There we go. There we go. That's pretty satisfying sound. Okay. Now we just got to seed these suckers.
Yep, tear them up.
Floor pump, air compressor.
I'm gonna use the air compressor.
Okay. Now you made fun of me last time because I couldn't quite figure out how to use this thing, even though it's mine. It's the side.
Oh, there you go. Looks pretty good.
There we go.
All right, let's tear this one up.
Oh, look at that. That's straight, man. Here's Jason down there cheating.
Such a satisfying sound. Boom,
All right.
done.
What are we doing now?
Go.
What do you have over here?
This is my scalpel.
Jeez Louise, man. We got like gloves.
We're missing something. No, we need this little guy right here.
What are we doing? Oh, yeah, the little.
Valve core.
What are we doing?
We're gonna put some sealant in this thing.
What's going on?
Challenge. Well, when you're working with handmade tires, you have materials that are a little more delicate to chemicals, so to speak. So, you know, we have an ammonia-free latex solution here. So we definitely recommend the use of the Challenge tire sealant or any of the others on the market that don't have any ammonia.
Okay. Oh, there we go. What does ammonia do to it?
It just degrades the cotton and super poly casings.
Okay. So
It's not good
it would degrade it,
from the inside out.
putting holes through it eventually.
Yeah, you would start to see leakage in the sidewalls and in the tread.
And we don't want leakage.
So first steps first, I gotta prepare.
Well, first steps first is put your blue gloves on.
Well, yes.
Let's be honest. Does anyone like doing this part?
It's an acquired taste for sure.
It's not as easy as just putting an inner tube in a tire.
No, it can be messy. There's 10 different ways to do it depending on who you ask, but we're going to show you kind of the easiest mess-free method.
Okay. Now, when you say there's 10 different ways of doing this, let's talk about some of those different ways of doing it.
All right, well, as many mountain bikers out there know that when they've put sealant in the past, instead of going through the valve core, especially if you have a non-removable valve, they would just undo one bead of the tire, pour the sealant in, put the bead back on, and then inflate it.
I've seen that done before,
It can get pretty messy.
especially if you're me trying to put a tire on a rim.
Right. It
Not
spills
understanding
everywhere.
the 3-step process.
It's on the rim. It's all over you. You're wearing it home.
Yeah, it's gross.
You put a bunch of air in there. Sealant's flying everywhere. It's, I mean, it gets the job done, but there's easier, cleaner ways to do it.
Okay.
So we're going to demonstrate that right now with our handy valve core removal tool. We're going to remove the inner valve.
Okay. So this is actually a. Whoa, that's nice. That's quick.
a
I usually
pretty
just
handy
use a
little tool.
pair of pliers.
Yeah, you can really mess up your valve core doing that, but in a pinch it works.
Okay, so we've got this done.
Yep. So the next step is to fill your syringe with some sealant. So we just stick this in. It's nice to have a rag handy because you can create quite a mess here. So a little extra volume tire here. We're going to put
Okay, so how much?
2.5 ounces.
Now, where do you learn that from? The side?
Well, that's just from experience.
Okay, but I'm not experienced. People watching this aren't experienced. That's why they're watching this.
Well, the smaller the tire, the less you have to put. I always err on the side of more because the design of a tire sealant is to coat the inner tire completely, create a nice protective layer inside, and then the extra that then moves around in there helps seal up any additional larger size punctures. I see riders all the time get flat tires on a group ride, and we go to put an inner tube in or put a plug in. There's no sealant left. It's dried up. They didn't put enough in there. They haven't checked it periodically. So there's a little bit of routine maintenance involved in running tubeless tires.
Okay, so we're about to put 2.5 ounces of tire sealant in. Now, one of the reasons why we want to seat the tire first is so that it separates the tire into the sidewalls, which technically should make it that the least amount of liquid is going to buzz out.
Well, the sealant's there for a reason. So the sealant is going to kind of bleed and leak into the bead shelf on the wheel and in between the tire bead.
Got it.
Because this isn't a true like tubeless system like you have in your car where there's no fluids required. And that's because of the way the interface is between a tire and a rim. In cycling, you have either hooked or hookless or even semi-hookless, and the system in general requires the sealant to complete the tubeless system.
It's also there to make sure that when you get a thorn or something like that traditionally wouldn't jack up a car tire, but a bike tire, it's going to.
Right.
Okay, cool. So, all right, you gonna do this? Should
Yeah.
I go this way? This way?
Well, you make the least amount of mess if you do it kind of sideways. So I always put it, kind of at that 9 o'clock position.
Yeah, let me do it this way. So, yeah, actually, here.
And we're just going to insert this into the valve
Uh huh.
and see how little bit of a mess we can make.
Jason.
So by doing this off to the side, it allows the fluid to leak down instead of rushing right back out the valve. And I really like the design of the Park Tool syringe because as opposed to some of the systems that
That was smooth. That's the first time.
screw in, this goes into the valve itself all the way down to the tire and very minimal mess. There's no leakage all over your brand new wheels or your nice tires.
There's in there. Okay, so now we want to close it up.
Close it up. Looks good.
There's no Newton meters on here. Probably just tighten.
Hand tight is good.
Okay. All right. And
Now we're gonna put some air in it. A little more. So once you air it up, what's the next step, Eric?
well, we want to get a nice seal going, so we're gonna spin it, and you'll kind of feel that little oomph, oomph, oomph as the liquid starts to rotate in and out. Now, reality is that tomorrow this is probably going to be flat when you get into. There's a good chance, and that's pretty normal for tubeless, hookless, correct?
No, I wouldn't say it's normal. So two things happen, really. So with a handmade tire, It's made out of cotton or super poly cotton. The surface inside is a little more porous, so it takes that little bit extra sealant that we talked about to seal the tire.
Did you know that I was a professional basketball player at some point?
I assume so.
As you can tell.
Yeah. So I wouldn't be surprised tomorrow if this is not still fully inflated.
Yeah.
And a couple other tips I'll give you here, as Eric's played around, is, once you put your sealant in and you air it up, if you hear any leakage or you see some bubbles coming out somewhere, very easy to solve that. Just tap that area on your garage floor or on the countertop, and that helps work that sealant into those little voids to help completely seal the system.
Now, when you're doing that process, is it better to have the tire fully inflated at the recommended, tire pressure for riding, or is it a little bit less, higher? What's the trick there? Anything?
I just put between 30 and 40 pounds in there and
away you go.
go. Yeah.
Okay.
This is holding air. There's no leakage. We're looking pretty good here. Well done, Eric.
Well, congratulations, my friend. You won.
Thank you.
Next time.
Feels good to win.
Yeah.